Well, guys, if that right there is not the sweetest thing to wake up to, oh my God. I woke up this morning, hopped on Discord, and I had like 12 missed messages about this. Have you seen the mailbox? I have seen it now, and Mamma Mia, this is just phenomenal. I gotta say, Moonton, bravo yet again. You know, a lot of people are like, you're criticizing them and then you're complimenting them. And I'm like, yeah, that's how this freaking works. When you're commenting on a game, you have to talk about the good, you have to talk about the bad. Just because they've done stuff to piss us off, you know, a week ago, doesn't mean they can't do stuff that's great this week. And we got to give flowers where they are due. And boy, are they due. Look at this, a free unpolished soulstone. These things are so rare. The only way to get these, basically, is from Moonton is by Moonton just gifting them to us. This is unbelievable. So you can see Anora's blessing. Anora, the silver seraphim, has descended, blah, 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 blah. Enjoy your gift, baby. And enjoy it we shall. So in this video, I want to talk about, hey, please check your mailbox, get your free unpolished soulstone. What could be better than that? Go claim that thing. And then where should you use it? So obviously I put out an unpolished soulstone guide last week. That was very, you know, min-maxy, only the things I would do, the 5 heroes I think are worthy, and I stand by all of that, and on my account, I would never do differently. So if you want to know who those 5 heroes are, we have our 2 unnamables. This is mostly for you PvP heads out there, really caring about Guild Wars defense, because these guys are rock stars. You can put it on your merit. I actually have 3 soulstones on my merit, or Iax. Pretty nice options. And then we have our Watchguard peeps. So we've got Sung Wukong, we have got Kagiri, and we have got Diao Chan. So these are who I think are the definitive options. And I really, in my opinion, there isn't an argument to be made here. However, and people let me know this in the comments, a lot of people aren't me. Like, I'm a very patient content creator, right? So much of what I do, both in making my content and playing this game, is trying to min-max. I'm in no rush. I like it when my account is good and strong, but that's not the point. The point is to make everything perfect and min-maxed and ready for a video, right? So a lot of people don't want to be efficient. Am I judging you a little? A little. I don't know. It's a game. Have fun. Whatever, you know? But in that case, then yeah, there probably are more than these 5 options. But I do want to talk about a couple key things if you want to go ahead and willy-nilly use your soulstone on not a Diao Chan, on not a Wukong, on not a Kagiri, and on not the unnamables, because I do think it's a mistake. So if you're going to make that mistake, I hope you make the mistake in the right way. So I want to touch on that in this video. And then the final thing, I would love your guys' opinion. I think I'm going to finally start using some soulstones. So I can show you here. You guys saw I have A1 Diao Chan, which is great. My merit's A3, that's nice. I'm in no rush to put stones on Iax. I actually, for Iax, still have my compensation ticket we got after the crazy summoning mess that we uncovered. I still have, where is it? Where's my little ticket? Here you go. So I could get an Iax dupe this way, and this is definitely something I've been leaning towards for a while. I'm just kind of waiting until I don't know, I feel like I want to do it. So I'm not using it on those guys. Basically, my options are Wukong or Kagiri. Wukong in a vacuum is the best single target DPS in the game. Certainly the best single target melee DPS, because then you're ruling out Paredes and Ingrid, who have, I guess, they have everything, right? Single target and AoE. But he's just phenomenal. If you can get an A Wukong, it's a pretty special thing, in A5 Wukong. But the biggest boost you can give a character is bringing Kagiri to A3. The jump of Kagiri, from Kagiri A0 to Kagiri A3 is enormous. The jump from Wukong, who's already fantastic at A0 to A3 is great. And then Wukong from A3 to A5 is great. Just like Kagiri, A3 to A5 is great. You know, A5 Kagiri, A5 Wukong, those are the top 2 in the whole game. For a lot of stuff, Kagiri is better than Wukong once he's A3 and A5. But the key thing is, A0 Wukong is already good. He's already a top DPS on my account. Kagiri cannot do any high-end DPS without A3. So I'd love you guys' opinions. We'll talk about it one more time at the end, but I am sitting on 4 soulstones now. And you might be wondering, how do you have so many soulstones? They've given us 6 free unpolished soulstones. That is not an exaggeration. Between the Christmas events, between a couple weeks ago with that crazy spring gift, between this gift for Easter, all these little things, the achievements, the Odyssey, they've given us 6. I've only ever pulled 1 of these ever from Guild Boss. So I have 7 total, 3 are on your merit, 4 are there. I feel like this gives me enough flexibility yeah, I could A3 Kagiri and not feel bad about it. Because, if the next limited is the best ever, at least I'm already ready for A1. So I'm leaning towards it. We'll talk about it at the end. But I want to talk about you guys. You know my 5, right? You know it's Diao Chan. You know it's Wukong. You know it's Kagiri. You know it's Humerit. You know it's IX. If you want to do anything else, I'll give a couple examples. I'm not going to give you a list right now, but I highly implore you to think hard about what that awakening is doing, right? So if you have Silas here, if let's say I had no Soulstones, I woke up today, and then in the mailbox, I got the 1. So now I have 1, and I'm like, ooh, Silas is my best. I've got bonded Silas because I have Virna over here. Silas is just so good. This skill's so good. He's the best guy in my whole account. So obviously, I'm going to go put a Soulstone into him. First off, I think it's inefficient, whatever. But think about where you're at. So if you're like me with an A3 Silas, what in God's green earth is that A4 Silas going to give me? +2 rage regen attack? Maybe he can get off one more use of his ultimate in a very long battle. I'm talking like a long Apocalypse run, right? A long Semra run. But even then, you're controlling the ult. Very often, you're sitting on an ult, waiting for like an in-between phase when the boss is vulnerable, when Semra is vulnerable and you can deal more damage. I mean, what is this ever really gonna get you? Is there some piece of content where you're just too late on your Silas ult? You can't make up for that with adjusting his attack speed and rage regen, and you need some +2 ticks of passive rage regeneration per second? Is this gonna move the needle? The answer is no. Yes, A5 Silas is phenomenal, but one Soulstone doesn't give you A5 Silas, and even if you have that in mind, that's something you've decided you want, which again, I would slightly question, because he's a lot easier to pull than the other top options, Wukong, Kagiri, Diao Chan, who only come once in a blue moon, or the Unnamables, who have legendary Lord rates. But if you decided this is what you wanted, why would you ever use a Soulstone now? Wait until you have 2, and you can guarantee you'll get the awakening you want. Because for all you know, you're going to put that Soulstone into Silas, right? So now he's A4, and this A4 effectively does nothing for you. Nothing at all, right? And then the next limited, right? The next new limited character is amazing, like Diao Chan, and you only need A1. And in that time, Moonton doesn't decide to wake up and give you 2 more Soulstones or something, right? So you have no new Soulstones to use, you've got the limited, and you can't get that A1 that unlocks everything, like with Diao Chan. So you wasted it on a stepping stone to an awakening that you don't even need. And then take it one step further, you get that next Soulstone, but you have that limited that needs it. So now that limited is getting that Soulstone. So Silas remains at A4. And next thing you know, you have a Silas sitting at A4 for 4 or 5 months or half a year or a year, and you're still just waiting to pull him like you were the whole time. So really think about, what does this Soulstone right now get me, and what is the loss by just being patient and sitting on it? An example of one you could do, and then shouldn't do, so it's both sides of the coin, we've got Hex, right? Hex's A3 for certain content probably is that crazy if you need that big of a boost. For something like Abyss, you don't really need this at all, but for Nightmare 4, this is so strong. If you're running a Infernal heavy team or a Piercer heavy team for Semra, this can be really strong. So if you're at A2 and you decide you don't need to be perfectly efficient, you don't care about past limiteds or future limiteds, you know you love Hex, the A3 is probably that big of a boost that you could justify it if you're that kind of player. But please, if you have him A1 or A0, there's no reason to chip away at this. You should never be putting the Soulstones in until you can guarantee those Soulstones are taking you straight to A3. So if you have him at A0 and then you click and you've got 3 or more, sure, bring him to A3. But if you're at A0, to bring him to 1, the Fool is a moderate DPS jump if you have Hex's exclusive. Otherwise, it's basically negligible getting this extra card. The A2, yes, increased base attack will be nice, but it will manifest as a fairly negligible DPS jump. The A3 will unlock everything, but please do me a favor and don't just, because you need to use the resource burning a hole in your pocket, don't do these chip away awakenings, these stepping stone awakenings. Do not invest your Soulstones until you can guarantee you're going to the awakening you want. So to take the example home and then bring this whole conversation in a full circle, with me and Kagiri, right? Yes, I've had enough Soulstones for a minute now. Now I'm up to 4 and I only need 3 for this crazy A3. But if you are the kind of person, let's say, I know this is a lot of people, you put 5 Soulstones into Wukong, right? Because people love Wukong, and I don't blame you, right? You put 5 Soulstones into Wukong, and now you're seeing with Abyss how important Kagiri actually is and how you know, that specific jump he gets, A0 to A3 is the strongest in the game, and you want a little taste of that glory. So let me just show you Abyss here. So every top team is going to have a Kagiri, at least A3, if not A5. You can see, looks like everyone used their Soulstones today. Everyone's been A5 so far. Let's see, when's our first A3 Kagiri? There we go. So 13th in the world is A3 Kagiri. Even at A3, he's the top DPS on this entire team. Better than Hex, better than Wukong. Definitely worth saying this Wukong is at A5, so A3 Kagiri for Abyss is just the best character in the game. Doesn't matter if you have A5 Wukong, A5 Hex, even an A5 Soul Cadence, you're going to be good to go with Kagiri. So you're seeing this and you're like, oh my god, I want a little taste of the Kagiri. But like I said, they've only given us 6 freebies ever. Maybe you're like me in the rest of the game and we've had 0 or almost 0 drops, right? I've only had 1 Unpolished Soulstone ever drop from the guild boss. So you don't have 3 Soulstones to get to Kagiri. But now you're admiring, you know, these top Abyss teams and you're saying, I need to get some Awakenings on my Kagiri because I know I need A3. Please, if you're like me with an A0 Kagiri, do not do it until you're 1000% sure you have 3 Soulstones and he's going straight to A3. This A1, who cares? Like, really, 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 who cares? It's nice to get his ult up faster. It's nice to have some healing. This will not move the needle for you. Base attack up 300, that's great. You'll see a tiny boost in DPS, but Kagiri already has base attack through the roof. You need the A3, and you shouldn't be willy-nilly just saying, well, I know I'm going to want A3 Kagiri. Look at the top of the Abyss leaderboard. Obviously, I can just start putting Soulstones into him, and eventually I'll get A3. Because you know as well as anyone, the next limited DPS could be a whole nother level. You know that, right? We got Kagiri, we were impressed. Then we saw A3 and A5 Kagiri, our minds were blown. But then Wukong came, and for just general content, A0 Wukong and then A3 and A5, that became the priority. But then all those people that randomly invested things and were sitting on like an A2 Wukong or an A4 Wukong or an A2 Kagiri or A1, whatever, in these no man's land kind of situations, and then Diao Chan comes around and you only need to get her A1, you regret it. So just be prepared to make the jump when you can fully make the jump. Do not do this chip away kind of thing. That is my sincere advice. To end this video, I guess I want to say thank you to Moonton one more time. It's crazy. The drop rates in Guild Boss are a farce since Unpolished Soulstones were introduced in the game and they were added as a drop. Me and many other players have min-maxed Guild Boss every single day, and as you can see, I've had 1 drop ever. I had the 6 freebies, and then there's just the 1 additional I've ever gotten. So it's very frustrating, but on the other side of the coin, thank you for continually just gifting them to us time and time again. Very, very nice. So I'm definitely leaning towards A3ing my Kagiri. Abyss 1 is a priority right now. I can guarantee the jump straight to this Awakening. I'm not putting 4 Soulstones into him, of course not. Even if I had 5, I don't think I'm thinking to A5 anything, because then I'd start thinking, oh, do I want to A3 Wukong? Or really what I would and I will do, I'm waiting to see what the next new limited is going to look like before I do anything like that. But I'm leaning towards A3ing him. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think at a minimum, this would take me over that 22K threshold for Abyss 1, but it's also worth considering it's not going to take me farther than that, right? So if we look at the next chest, this is kind of what I'm teetering on. It would make for good content if I do it, and I can show exactly how strong he is. Right now, I'm at about 19 or 20K. 22K would become an instant reality if I got Kagiri to A3, but I'm not going to all of a sudden jump to 35K. Not without a Soul Cadence or something crazy happening sometime soon. But at least it would let me try to push for 35K. So that'd be exciting. It could become, you know, a challenge for me on the account where right now it's completely out of the question. So let me know what you guys think. Should I A3 my Kagiri? And finally, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Please don't say, like, should I A1 my Silas or whatever, right? I mean, stuff like that. Maybe that's the final thing I want to say in this video. Please look at some of these Awakenings. I had someone ask me if they should A1 their Silas. I mean, come on. 100 attack speed more during just his ultimate? Yeah, it's kind of nice. You think this is going to help you? This is going to be the game changer for some piece of content? I promise you, as someone who's spent as much time in this game as any human being on the planet, it will not, okay? So look at the Awakening you're actually awakening, you're actually unlocking before you just throw these in and say, I like Hero X, let me give him Stone, okay? That's where I'm going to leave it. If you have any specific questions, you can let me know in the comments. You can also let me know what you chose to do with the Soulstone. Are you saving it? Did it unlock some cool new thing for you? Or are you confused and you don't know what to do? It's all good. Share with your mother, guys. I've been Fastidious, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.